The Tantastic Tanning Salon in Salem is a building many people in the community wish came down a long time ago. Its demolition is set to start today, but setbacks started showing up before construction could even begin.
The delay is due to utility lines still hooked on the back of the building.
Wise Carver tells me they are worried that when they take down the back wall of the building, it will go out, hitting the utility lines instead of falling in like they hope. He says waiting on utility companies is the main point of delay.
Some of them are still active, but some of them are not active, but they're still connected to the main power line, feeding other properties, other buildings, and you know, could endanger the public. So we don't want to get involved with that.
Nearby business owners and residents explained how having their part of East State Street blocked off has really affected that area.
The businesses rely on the parking in front of the stores because there's no rear parking on the north side. And so it's really affecting their businesses because you have to park a ways away just to be able to get to the building.
Recycled Treasures is a store about 2 buildings down from Tantastic. Their business has been cut in half.
We have a back entrance and we've kind of advertised it to be open, and there's a little bit of parking on back there. But the sales have gone down probably half since we've opened.
For the town of Salem, this project continues to be a waiting game. In Salem, Eric Zarenko, WKBN 27 First News.
Tearing down and building up. Now, on First News at 5, we updated you on the demolition of the old Tantastic building in Salem that has shut down a major road in the city.
But there is also a push to bring life back to the downtown area. First News reporter Eric Zarenko has that story tonight.
It's the beginning of downtown Salem.
Salem has a brand new building in the works called Courtyard Square, which features a fine dining restaurant, a 38-seat bar, and numerous other shops. It's part of the Save Downtown Salem project run by developer Scott Cahill, who says it's just the beginning.
There's a lot going on in Salem. Salem is really changing.
Businesses, homes, and markets. It's all part of the plan to bring new life to the town.
I'm looking at a couple buildings that I would like very much to get a hold of to make sure that they don't crumble, to make sure that they're preserved. We'll be buying houses that have problems and cleaning them up and renovating them, leasing them, or selling them.
The Scratch and Dent Food Outlet is a building Cahill bought. He and his new owner, Ed Lee, are overwhelmed with the store's success.
People love it. People love the chance that they can get, something that's $3 at a store for $1.
And if you love farmers markets, mark your calendar for May 2nd.
We have 14 vendors here to start the farmers market on the 2nd.
And what did you have before?
Two.
So with this guy on the city side, the future of Salem looks bright. In Salem, Eric Zarenko, WKBN 27 First News. A 23-year-old white male driving a stolen 2015 Hyundai Sonata led 3 local police departments on a high-speed chase through Trumbull County. It all started this afternoon when the Ohio State Highway Patrol was notified of a stolen vehicle.
We got the phone call about 1:30 this afternoon from OnStar saying that a car had been entered stolen and was being actively pinged in the area of Lordstown in Trumbull County.
Lordstown police was able to locate the car. That's when the chase started, reaching speeds up to 100 miles per hour.
Initiated a pursuit that was traveling north on Todd Avenue towards the city of Warren.
Once in Warren, the suspect hit these railroad tracks at the intersection of Todd Avenue and Summit Street, sending his car airborne and deploying the airbags once it landed. The man then got out of his car and led police on a foot chase. Bob Sharp was sitting on the front porch of his home near the tracks and saw the whole thing unfold.
When he hit the tracks, he went airborne. He come down over there, and I could see the parking lot. That's how high he was.
The suspect then headed behind the old St. Joe's Hospital and into the woods along the Mahoning River. He decided to jump in the river and try to swim across, but police surrounded him on both sides of the river, so he swam back to shore on the same side of the water he entered and was arrested.
The suspect was incarcerated at the Trumbull County Jail. He will be charged with receiving stolen property, fleeing and eluding, and also failure to control.
Now, Matt, the Ohio State Highway Patrol also told me that the man had 4 warrants out for his arrest. 3 in Girard for theft, and 1 in Niles for breaking and entering. So it's really a good thing they got him off the road. It doesn't cause any more damage.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for that. And if we get any new developments, we'll also pass that along to you, both on air and online.
So you like your job? Yeah, I can't complain. Long hours. Yeah.
The winter season arrived very quickly this year, which means snow crews have to be prepared.
We have about 20,000 tons of salt. We always have about 40,000 gallons of liquid brine on hand, right around 30,000 gallons of liquid calcium.
Because when that storm hits, crews gear up and head out for the long haul.
Keep the guys on the road and do the best we can to keep up with whatever event we have coming.
Sharp says the biggest thing they can do to keep up with roads is plan ahead of the snow.
Get the crews out as early as possible before the snow starts. Be prepared for the snow event that's coming at the time. Make sure that we have all our trucks up and running.
And after last year's winter, this is what he has to say to all of you out there when driving in bad conditions.
Leave early and take your time and go slow.
And those are words you definitely want to listen to. In Canfield, Eric Zarenko, WKBN 27 First News. Oh, Amy and Dan, that's right. I'm sure all of you heard that storm rip through the valley last night around 8:30. Well, that storm left thousands of homes without power. Now, Ohio Edison is working to get that power restored. But here in Boardman, hundreds of homes still remain in the dark. Now, one of the strongest parts of the storm actually came right over our WKBN station, bringing 58-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now, you can see the damage those winds caused right behind me, where all these branches are just knocked down. I mean, look at this one. This one doesn't look that big, but when I try to hold it up, I'm 6'5", and this is way taller than I am. Also, this branch up here broke clear off of that one. The base of that branch looks like it has to be at least a foot thick. So, I mean, these are definitely branches where you need strong wind gusts to be able to bring them down. Now, I want you to take a look at this video that we shot earlier this morning. This was around 12:30 this morning on Market Street in Boardman near the Township Administration Building behind the high school. You can see crews working on power lines, trying to get those transformers back up and running. You can also see some fallen trees and branches there as well, and some of them are actually pretty big in size, just like the one here. Now, I called Boardman Police this morning, and they told me that they haven't heard of any other areas at the moment where trees are down or blocking roads. But again, according to Ohio Edison, there are still scattered areas around Boardman where power remains out, but they do expect it to be back on by 7 a.m. Now, we'll be keeping in touch with police and checking back with Ohio Edison for the most updated outages, and then we'll bring those to you on WKBN and WKBN.com. But for now, reporting live in Boardman, Eric Zarenko, WKBN 27 First News. Dan and Amy, besides frigid temperatures out here, well, first of all, it is cold. Take a look at the ground down here. It's light and fluffy snow on the ground. That's what's falling. But when you take a look at the road like Midlothian behind me, that's where the snow gets wet. Those cars are coming through here, and that snow is really turning into just this slushy ice, and that ice is forming on the bottom barrier of the road, and that snow is falling on top of it. That's what's making those cars slide. And Amy, I know you even told me just a little bit ago when you were coming in that any kind of hill that you were going up, your back wheels were sliding off. So if you're going out this morning, be extra careful and drive extra slow because those roads are very icy. Now, we did see some plow trucks out. I called Justin Chesnick, who is the Public Information Officer for ODOT District 4 in Akron, and he told me that that is tricky when it comes to ice because it's rain falling first before that water turns to ice, but that they're just going to continue to keep plowing and treating. Now, if the temperatures go below 25 degrees, they're going to use calcium and beet juice, but if they stay above 25 degrees, like it is, I think, around right now, they're just going to continue using salt. Now, I also called Mahoning County Dispatch and Boardman Police Department to see if there are any accidents on their roads right now, and as of now, they have nothing to report on. And coming up in the next hour, I'll be showing you a cool little gadget that'll tell you really how cold these road temperatures are and why they are freezing right now. But for now, reporting live in Boardman, I'm Eric Zarenko for WKBN 27 First News. Dan? Matt, I'm standing in the area where that high-speed chase through numerous townships ended, and the suspect was arrested right down at the bottom of this hill, which is about 80 feet straight down and is right across from Packard Park, where we can hear kids playing right now. Now, for another point of reference, just to let you know exactly where we are, right over here to the right is the VA outpatient clinic. Now, this all started around 1:30 yesterday afternoon when Ohio State Police was notified of a stolen vehicle by OnStar. State Police found the 23-year-old white male driving a 2015 Hyundai Sonata, lost him, and called on Warren Township Police and Lordstown Police for backup. They found the man again in Austintown and chased him into Warren at speeds up to 100 miles per hour. The man hit railroad tracks in Warren at the intersection of Todd Avenue and Summit Street, and the car went airborne. Now, when it landed, the airbags deployed and the car went about 300 yards further down Todd Avenue before the suspect got out of the car, and that chase started up on foot. Now, he ran behind the old St. Joe's Hospital and down into this heavily wooded area along the Mahoning River. He actually got out of his car down there, ran down along this valley here before he jumped into the river, attempting to swim across. Now, he got about halfway across the Mahoning River before he saw police were on both sides. He turned around and he swam back, and he was arrested, like I said, right down here at the shoreline. Now, no charges are filed right now against the man, but he does have 4 warrants out for his arrest. 3 were in Girard on theft, and 1 was in Niles for breaking and entering. He's being held at the Trumbull County Jail, and his custody was transferred to OSP, who will file charges. Now, tonight at 11, we'll have an interview from the supervisor at OSP, who's going to tell us what it was like during that high-speed chase. But for now, reporting live in Warren, Eric Zarenko, WKBN 27 First News. Matt? Amy and Dan, Bo Sewage and Robert Scott were the 2 men involved in the fight. I talked with Girard Police this morning, and they told me that detectives will be at the station here at 7:30 this morning to determine if charges will be filed against either of the 2 men, which most likely will happen. I want you to take a look at this video now. This was shot yesterday morning around 10:30 on Churchill Road. You can see the 2 men trade punches and then throw each other to the ground. The man in the black shirt is Sewage. Scott is wearing the gray shirt. When Sewage gets up from the ground, you can also see him pick up a gun that fell from his waistband. A police report says that Sewage was almost hit by Scott, who went through a stop sign as Sewage was going through the same intersection. He then turned around and followed Scott to confront him. When the 2 got out of the car, the police report says Sewage grabbed Scott first, but Sewage says he was not expecting to fight. Now, Sewage also told us by phone that he was only defending himself, that even though he had a gun on him, he had no intention of using it. Police say Sewage will likely be the one facing charges in this case. But for now, reporting live in Girard, Eric Zarenko, WKBN 27 First News. Dan? I am stuck in New York City right now because the bus service I take canceled every single one of his trips back to Western Pennsylvania today. Now, the reason these trips are canceled is not because of snow. All the snow we got was last night, and it wasn't even that bad. We're getting nothing here like Boston is getting. The reason is because of the high winds expected to move into the area. Now, the city is expecting to get winds anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour with wind gusts all the way up to 60 miles an hour. Now, gusts this strong could easily turn over a bus, it could easily turn over a truck, and also create extremely hazardous travel conditions. Now, another reason, that was the main reason, another reason is the brutally cold temperatures we're feeling right now. Right now it's about 17 degrees in New York, but with that wind chill, it makes it feel like 4 degrees, and those temperatures are going to do nothing but drop throughout the day until they reach single digits tonight, most likely having that wind chill be below 0 at that time. Now, I was walking around the city earlier when that wind was blowing, and it really didn't feel too bad, but when the wind picked up, I could barely stand being outside. My face hurt, my legs hurt, my ears hurt, and I was wearing heavy clothes at that time. I was wearing a jacket and a hat as well. This is where you can get frostbite in a matter of minutes, which is why the streets of New York are a lot more quiet than usual. Now, as for bus lines, they should be back to normal by Monday. I already scheduled mine for the morning, so hopefully I'll see all of you back in Youngstown bright and early Tuesday morning. But for now, reporting in New York, I'm Eric Zarenko. Dan and Amy, we're just about to turn right onto Raccoon Road, but just a couple minutes ago, we were at an intersection on 224. We got the green light. We started to go, and we heard honking from our left side. So we looked to our left, and a red truck was coming, and it was honking at us, telling us not to go because it couldn't stop. It went straight through the intersection on a red light because it couldn't stop. That's how slippery it is. And just another example of how slippery some of the roads are right now. We're driving in a Jeep that has four-wheel drive. We were going up a hill slightly, and our back wheels started to spin out from under us, and the car started to slide to the right a little bit. So that just really shows how bad some of these roads are right now. This is Raccoon Road right here. You can see completely snow covered. It doesn't look like any plows have come through here for a while, if at all yet. And the winds are also looking like they're really starting to pick up. That's blowing the snow from the side of the road onto the road, which is also making the roadways more narrow. So when you're driving on more back roads in the country, be careful because it makes it a really narrow squeeze past cars that are coming towards you. Now, again, just be as careful as possible if you have to go out. If you don't have to go, just stay at home because these roads are in really bad conditions right now. And make sure to stay with WKBN and WKBN.com for more weather updates all throughout the morning and also for school closings and delays. But for now, reporting live from South Raccoon Road in the Live Drive Action Cam, I'm Eric Zarenko for WKBN 27 First News. Dan?
All right, thanks, Eric. In the Live Drive Action Cam that was heading from the Canfield area north up Raccoon Road towards Austintown. 35 minutes after.
Fast is coming up for you in just a few minutes. Eric?
Thank you, Corey. Crews investigating an unknown substance that was discovered Friday in Lake Erie. Believe it came from a power plant. Cleanup continued today near Cleveland, and barriers remain to prevent the substance from spreading. Vacuum trucks have recovered about 1,500 gallons of contaminated water. Cleveland Public Power has accepted the cleanup responsibility. Well, a major power provider is shutting down about 6 coal-powered plants next month. Columbus-based American Electric Power recently gave notices to workers at 3 plants in West Virginia, the Muskingum River plant in Ohio, and a plant in Indiana and Virginia. The closures will affect more than 250 workers. AEP is trying to meet stricter federal emissions standards. And now a follow-up to a story we've been covering for months. The fight to keep the Youngstown Developmental Center open has a new ally. Members of the Youngstown State University Student Democrats have written a letter asking the state to keep the mineral-rich facility open. The center, which houses about 90 people who need special care, is set to close in 2017. The college Democrats say they are against any plans to move the residents to another center.
That's a very easy fix in someone's mind, but actually visiting the center and knowing the residents, there's members of the YDC who have already been moved, and this is the second time it's happened within the last 30 years.
The center employs more than 200 people. It's one of 10 developmental centers in Ohio. The state's Department of Disability says that number of centers is no longer financially sustainable. Well, it's time now to get a little festive. The Easter holiday always includes a lot of chocolate and jelly beans, and for some people in Struthers, it means buying those treats last minute at a discount they just can't resist. 33 News reporter James Santelli has that story.